Alrighty, folks. Hey, what's up? I am greatjhon, and I'm here to continue the TurboGrafx 16 block. I've got Lat Mackey here. Hey, what's up? I am greatjhon, and I'm here to continue.
What up, everyone?
TurboGrafx 16. So we're going to be showing off Bonk 3, Bonk's Big Adventure, and might be the one you don't know much about, but like there's Bonk's Adventure and Bonk's Revenge, two really awesome games, and then there's this one. This is the weird one. So in this one, they added a few different effects, and they also have a two-player mode, which I still have not played the whole game through, but you know, maybe one of these days, maybe Lat will join me.
Yes, we keep saying one time we're gonna have to do this.
Like we haven't even I think we tried it together once, but that was about it. Anyway, so yeah, what we're gonna do is this is just any percent, so we're gonna beat the game as fast as possible. Been putting up some good times here lately, so hopefully we can show off a good run here. So, you ready to get going?
Good luck, John.
Yeah, I think so. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And looks like my timer's going. Yep. All right, so just right off the bat, we're gonna kind of show off the mechanics, and I'll kind of hand it off to Lat to talk about what we're doing. But basically, you're gonna be jumping and spinning and trying to move fast. Tell them how it's done.
Yeah, so this is kind of the game that really, it's execution heavy. So John's time is going to heavily depend on how well he does a lot of things, which I know is kind of like self-explanatory probably for a lot of speedruns, but this game very much so, the mechanics are really important. Just like any other Bonk game, you have the spinning mechanic. However, in this one, I don't know, John, it feels the most floaty of all Bonk games to me. Would you agree with that, or would you say Bonk 1 is even more floatier than this?
Yeah, Bonk 1, you can really get going fast, and Bonk's Revenge is definitely a little floaty, but this one is like slow motion spinning sometimes.
So true. And in fact, so you're going to see John try to mix in places where he's going to like bonk off some walls and try to find places where he can speed up some of his momentum. One of the things that Bonk 1 and Bonk 2 had was this interesting mechanic where you can kind of carry your momentum through different areas. And this game has that, but here's what I hear. And unfortunately, though, it kind of gets limited by some of the design of a lot of the level. So, and in the very different levels. So you'll see John try to find those places. Obviously, you just saw it bonking off a spring and some other places. That's going to be spring bonking is definitely a thing we do in all of the games, but definitely in this one as well.
And the springs are like those little flowers or little like colored bushes, you might call them. Oh, he's getting me in trouble already. Wow. I did not expect to get frozen there.
Already at level 1. I mean, get it out of the way now, you know?
Yeah, losing lives in this game is actually pretty tough because this is a very tight run to make sure that you can maintain your health. So having a death this early is actually a little rough.
It can be a little terrifying. Thankfully, when you do game over, you do restart at the beginning back of the entire round, but you do have to do all the individual stages within the round.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you'll notice when on that death, the animation can take definitely moments and seconds away. So you do want to avoid those as much as you can.
Absolutely. This fight's been giving me a little trouble lately. I got him real quick that time. That's good.
Nice. Yeah, good fight, John. You'll also notice that we kind of went over really quickly, but Bonk changes sizes in this game. It's the first introduction, the first time you'll see this, because it happened again in Super Bonk and Super Bonk 2 on the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom, but this was the first introduction of turning really, really insy-pincy tiny and really huge Bonk.
Yep, you're gonna see some of your enemies can do that too, which makes for a pretty annoying run at the end.
Dog in the chat is asking Bonk for Smash Ultimate when? Great question. How's it not happen?
He's got to be in one of them, right? Big head. I mean, all of his attacks are basically going to be bonking his head into things, right?
This is actually one of my, you just went through it, but the pipes is actually, I think, one of the more fun animations in this game where you see Bonk squeeze up like into one of these pipes. It's just kind of silly. I like a lot of this game.
I was trying to get a little skip there, which it definitely helped save a lot of time. I had a bad setup for it, though, so I didn't. It basically just cut off this corner here, and you don't have to go around like I just did right there. So we're just showing you the grand tour of this level right there instead of getting the fast times.
If you ever consider starting to run this speed game, thankfully that one's not a deal breaker, but when you're at the level that John's at where his time is so good already, that becomes a reset point for sure if you aren't able to get that.
It could be like a solid 9 or 10 seconds depending on how fast you're moving through that section. So
I have the backup. I call it my backup strat. There's a piece of meat right there that does actually make you move a little bit faster, but it's still significantly slower than just doing the skip.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that saves me time at all. Look at this. I'm missing my bonks. I can't even go fast here. Let's see if this one's a little better. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, once you're in a cycle like that where you try to bonk it and you miss, you're just like probably gonna keep missing it. Let's see if I can get this one. Oh, I got it. I was trying to jump up in the air to get a little bit faster here. But that's a really tricky one to do because you have to jump up as soon as you bonk it.
So thankfully to folks who have tasked this game, we know a little bit about how some of those bonks off of like flowers and springs work, and it's kind of based on your frame. And as you heard in the previous run during Pac-Land, when you're at your fastest turbos, you're 2 on and 2 off, so your frame might not line up. And I don't, John, do you even use turbo during this run at all?
Yes, I'm actually, most of the time I have my bonk set to turbo, and I'll turn it off periodically because in this game it's a little bit more forgiving. When you like do a quick bonk, you won't do a turbo spin. But, you know, in some of the other bonk games, it's actually really hard to pull off like a single bonk.
Quick shout out to Memory Task who tasked this. John, it's been 4 years since no, I'm sorry, 2 years. It's been over 2 years now since Memory has tasked this. But we got a much better understanding. Had you started running before the task, or did you? I can't remember when you started running this game because I think you're the first one who picked it up.
There was a task, and I know there was something that I did that was better than the task. So we got an improvement on the task, and it was that little skip. And I think there might have been one other like little thing, but yeah, the task is insanely good though. It's so fast.
It's really fun to watch. Yeah, exactly.
They basically spend most of the time in the run small, like so very little, and doing all sorts of crazy like wall bonks and cool things like that. But it's really easy to get hit when you're small, so you know, just test stuff.
And that's once again, when you're getting hit when you're small, it slows you down because there's that animation where you have to return to normal size, and so it just can be a total drawback.
Gonna be going for a quick kill on this boss. I'm pretty consistent with it. You know, knock on wood, but we'll see.
I'm gonna credit you for the one kind of finding this actually strat for this robot, unless I'm missing it if I can't remember correctly. But I think you're the one who developed like bouncing off of the shoulder and then going up for the head.
Let's see if I can get it. I got a good setup here. Yeah, looks like I got it. I like to not get hit there, but hey, there it is. We're done.
Hey, nice, good fight.
Yeah, it's good to make up for that with that dumb death earlier.
My Infinite Zero. Bonk as a series is just unhinged, and he climbs with his teeth. Well, you're not wrong, actually, on any of that.
Yeah, the end of there, we're actually choosing to, if you want to, you can go to a bonus stage, but there's also, like, it'd be a sign of shame if you ever had to do the bonus stage in this run, so...
bonus stage of shame.
Yeah, for the first ones, you don't have enough smileys, so you can kind of just mash start or run, and you don't have to worry about, like, oh, I won't accidentally go to a bonus stage. But if you do that later in the run, you will accidentally unlock a bonus stage. Tell me how I know, because I've done it in runs, even recently. It's not like a thing that I just stopped doing. But yeah, you have to make sure that you're not selecting a bonus run, basically. Oh, look at this. This is the big bonk of shame, because you shouldn't see this power up until the very end. And look how slow this guy is.
I was gonna say, you're giving it away. You're giving it away already.
Yeah. Oh no! The smoochy fish of shame. Look at this. We're getting all the fun stuff in the run that shouldn't happen. That's never happened before, guys. Yeah, so these are kind of like random stages, like, and I don't actually know the way through them, so this is one I've never seen. So, yeah, so let's have some fun. Go through this. So we're gonna go out through the intestines, of course. Just another excuse to show off this pipe. Oh my God.
Because you know, Bonk.
This is a run, right? I don't think this one's gonna be world record run. Just saying.
You might be off pace at this point.
A little bit, just a little bit off pace.
At least you're actually getting to see the game, folks. Like, as mentioned, this game is, I definitely feel like they started to enter their, like, psychedelic era with this one, because Super Bonk, I've always felt like they were high on something when they were creating that game. This one, I feel like you can start to see the starts of that.
Let's just make a run that's, like, absolutely absurd. And I think it really shows. That is something that makes this game fun to play and watch. Because it's just a lot of weird stuff. I'm surprised I haven't gotten hit here. Usually I get hit and I'm big to kind of maneuver through this section, but it's actually nice being a little smaller. Except for that, where I didn't get to bonk both of those. But yeah, we're going to go underground and do a lot more of these size changing mechanics. Go ahead, Wyatt.
No, I think it was, your route here is kind of pointing through. It's been tough to find places to optimize routing in this game. And this is where kind of one of my biggest complaints of the game comes through, even though I do speedrun this game as well, is that the level designs don't necessarily always like lend themselves to finding like really great places to keep your momentum going and moving fast in this game. Unlike Bonk's Adventure and Revenge, where there are some really key areas where you can get going really fast. And this game, it just only has a few moments of that. It's kind of fleeting sometimes.
Yeah, like the little flower bonk and flying down the fort bonk springs, and basically, yeah, there's just not a lot of places to get a lot of good speed going. And actually, I'm just gonna ride this boulder because been having a rough run. Just gonna relax for a little bit.
Take a break or conserve the life. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Right.
I think that's kind of one of the fun things too, or at least like decent things for people who are starting to run a Bonk game, is that there are places where you can there's some forgiving places, not to mention with this like the dying and the game overing. So if you were trying to pick up the game, there are at least some areas where if you game over, if you die, it's like there's another place where you jump on a rock to save yourself a little bit of a safety, I guess is the best word for it.
I lost a little cycle on that crusher thing, and it's like sometimes if you're just like all the way to the left or something, it doesn't hit you, and it's like that's just an annoying little thing. It's like, oh, lost a couple seconds just waiting for another one to come down. It's silly.
Yeah, it's why I've wondered if a game like this works on a frame rule or some sort of pixel dependency, because that's kind of wacky stuff where it seems like it randomly happens. There's no like rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, it's like I didn't think I did that wrong. I'm just holding left, waiting for the thing to come. Smash me into a crab. Let's see it. Getting our third boss already. These are really quick bosses, and they mostly just have a trick to like there. I got up there real quick to start hitting them. So I'm only gonna get hit once, which is nice. Conserve that health. Hopefully save these lives.
It's always been a little bit one of my complaints about some of the Bonk bosses, and this one's one of them where like it doesn't seem like you can beat the boss without taking some sort of damage. Drool is definitely like that, and it always has rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, especially if you play the game more often.
Oh man, Drool. I've had runs that have been on a really good pace, and it's like, yep, Drool ruined another run just being Drool, basically.
Nothing like completing everything in the game and then just losing it to the final boss fight.
Yeah, these
great feeling.
First three Bonk games especially, it's like you're trying to hit the guy, you're getting on top of him, and it's like I'm just slamming into his head, and I'm still getting hit constantly. Like what's going on?
What is this?
And so you always want to have like extra lives or a lot of extra health at least going into those fights.
I like this stage that you're on currently. It's got kind of a cool look and feel to it, and there are multiple routes that you can do. I believe this is the one the task takes, but
yeah,
definitely there's a place to keep meat going where you can kind of keep your momentum going.
Yeah, and I lost a little bit of speed there. It's like if you ever land on your head or you just like lose a little bit of time, it's like I try to like hop across those platforms real fast, but lost a touch of speed there. And then when you have meat power up, you have some free hits right here, so it's nice that I can just like get a free hit off on one of these guys since I still have the meat. I'm gonna try for a little damage boost here to get up if I can. Thank you, Dino. Yeah, that's a nice little boost up.
Nice. Again, I think that was a discovery on your end.
Yeah, that might have been as well. But
in fact,
yeah.
I would credit John to finding most of the stuff in this game, because first he had taken on the speedrun before. I think I'm pretty sure you were the only person on the leaderboard for a while.
It might have been Infinite Mystery. Infinite Mystery definitely had a time at some point, but I wasn't sure if he was the first. He might have been the first. He's prolific, so he's everywhere.
Absolutely. There's very good. Shout out to Infinite Mystery, who you've seen on this stage before, on the Retrothon stage, playing this game.
Yep. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna fall asleep under the water here. So I was hoping not to take another death here. I think we might have to take the game over abuse on round 6 at this point, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, lives are at a premium in this game. I don't have a lot of safety for extra lives, you know. Just mostly trying to conserve my health. Love that.
The ice fit. Just like any other 8 and 16-bit era game, the ice fixes in this game can be challenging to say the least. And John, you're actually doing a really great job of it, surprisingly. It is the thing I swear the most at this game, and it seems like it's very tough to control the slide at all. And it just seems like it keeps going on and on and on until you have to make a very conscious choice to fight against it.
There's something about that line coming down through those fishes there, like where it's like they are on top of you, but they are not hitting you. It's like you're on a different plane or something. It's fun. But yeah, the ice physics in this are awful. If you ever like have to stop, you just like stop like a tank, and he's really slow and sluggish. I did not want to go
originally
inside that hitbox there.
This boss fight was one of my least favorite. Or originally, it's kind of I have no idea how many hit. It seems like it's an inconsistent. I don't know if it's inconsistent, but finding the exact right spot to hit on this boss can be, I guess, fun. Is what question mark?
Yeah, you throw the ice physics in there too, and it's just a big pain. I think it is a consistent amount of hits, but it's hard to tell unless you're like bouncing off only the top of it like that. Oh, the motorcycle guy got me. So those motorcycle guys will always jump over you, but sometimes you just like think that you need to jump, which is exactly what I did there. This is like the they live level, I like to say. It's like the sign saying obey, you love Bonk 3, now on sale. It's really funny. It's like, no, you love Bonk 3, you really do. It's your favorite game. Buy multiple copies.
I want to make a fascism joke, but I'm just gonna leave it there, okay?
So it looks like I lost a little bit of my speed there, but yeah, that's a nice clean route there where you just it's like you don't have to spend a lot of time on the rooftops. You can, but I think the slow or the fastest route is just to get down as far as you can and just keep going.
Totally agree, and it's also kind of a fun place if you're playing casually that you can kind of go explore a little bit. This is another one of those areas that allows you to, hey, look what's up in the sky. There's something different than down there on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like that's like the route you would get some kind of a bonus out of, but it doesn't really give you much of anything. Maybe some extra meat, a little bit extra health. Yeah, and these platforms open up. It's a really tricky section. Looks like I already kind of got myself in trouble. I want to get back up there so I can get this big meat to finish this level. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to now. Oh, hey, there you go. That's a way to do it.
Nice.
Now if I can actually get to the meat, there we go. Yeah, I was about to say, oh, if I don't get that meat, that kind of kills my routing here, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, because it's nice going
just
to this
like
next section with some meat.
Very similar to other Bonk games in the series. A lot of the routing does revolve around where you pick up meat and how you keep that momentum going, taking you to the next section. It feels like we have the least amount of meat gets in this game than the other ones. Or maybe it's just because I don't know. It just feels like there's less meat speed in this game than the other two.
Yeah, there's not a ton of benefit. It's mostly just like, I can move through this section a little bit faster if I get it. So I'm actually going to stop for a little extra health here. It's slower, but you know, with this run going the way it's going, I think I need a little bit of bonus.
Also, the waterfall can get I mean, it's challenging. There's no way to, and the things just do a lot of damage to you. So
yeah, it's not like the orange waterfall from Bonk's Revenge. That one's torturous.
Yeah. The worst.
This one's actually much nicer. But yeah, these dragonflies, these boulders, these flies. Like, I'm surprised I haven't gotten hit yet because I usually am already like big by this point, not small anymore.
That was some really good dodging.
Yeah. It must have been the extra heart that did it for me. So I was going to actually try to get hit by that guy there, but we'll see what happens here. You know what? Going into this fight small, not a problem. Not a problem.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, so what I'm going to try to do here is get a 1 cycle, and I've been pretty consistent on it lately. But basically, just need to keep bonking it until I want these to... If I'm going to get hit by anything, ideally it's these things. Instead of the boss, because it will do a lot of damage if I get hit by the boss.
This I don't know what to say. This boss has multiple different attacks, even though it's kind of the same. Hey, nice.
Yeah, so I lost a life, but I'm actually looking pretty good going in around 6. I'm hoping not to need the reset. Or not the reset. I'm not going to reset the run, folks.
Please, yeah.
It's the game over. It's like purposeful game over. Round 6 is very challenging. It's actually the hardest last stage of the game because there's still a final stage, but it's nothing compared to this one.
And that happens quite a bit in Bonk games as well, where your last stage of the game is, and it's not this one. Round 7 is going to be the last stage, but the last stage is usually sometimes like half the game or a significant chunk, 30 to 40% of the game.
Yeah, this one has a boss rush, but it's actually fairly short compared to some of the other ones. So
yeah, agreed.
Pretty equivalent to like what Super Bonk had a very similar Like,
Right.
but Bonk's Revenge has like little bonus stages that you have to fight. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, I was so close. So if you can bonk up there, you can get an extra heart container. And I've been missing it a lot lately, but I was close to getting it that time. And then if you can go in the last boss with 5 hearts, it's pretty nice. Oh, hey, didn't want to get eaten there. I thought I got you bonked, but guess not. That is gonna change my setup for this, because usually I have meat coming into this, and you want to have a full meat for this section. So I need to get both meat power-ups and do this part a little better.
This is one of my least favorite sections of this game altogether, because once again you're battling the what I will refer to as not the best ice mechanic, ice physics.
One of the worst, in fact, because you actually have to like run up these slopes, and it's insane. Like how you have to do. You basically have to mash the jump button or the bonk button.
And you can throw on turbo, but if you're not used to that mechanic of turning on and off the turbo in the middle of a game, it can be a little jarring.
Yeah, you'd be like, wait, why is it take me so long to get up this slope if you're just like holding right? You basically have to be jumping or bonking or whatever it happens to be. All right, but we're already done with this section. 6-3 is the last stage here, and this one's definitely the trickiest of the round, but looking great on health and lives, so.
6-3 is probably one of my favorite levels of the run, and I think casually too. It's actually got some really fun like jumps and bouncing off the clouds and all that kind of stuff, which definitely kind of nice to at least. But it's like John's saying, it's definitely the most one of the most where you have to execute. You have to, and if you don't, you will be punished.
Yeah, and also one of the most psychedelic levels, of course, because like look at this background. It's crazy.
You don't have to adjust your stream. The bitrate is just getting crushed, folks. Just let you know.
Yeah, I bet on stream it looks like crap. Huh? I don't often get to watch it, so. Yeah, so this level's going great so far. I do a little like damage boost there on these little hatchet guys, so I can kind of get through. Because if you fall down from there, and I'm sure Lat's done this before, if you fall down, you like fall down almost all the way to the beginning of where those clouds were when you're bouncing up. It's really frustrating.
Yeah.
All right, this boss is actually really tricky to get started. There we go. You gotta jump up, otherwise you're like gonna be stuck under him. And there's actually you can't really see it here, but there's quicksand right here that you're falling through. So it makes it really hard to jump up. Yeah, and now I got an extra life, so everything's pretty good on lives. I don't think I'm gonna have to forcibly get a game over here. But
John made that boss fight look really easy, but that was a really precise jump. There's not a lot of leniency.
Yeah, it's one of those. Bonk has a mechanic where, like, especially in, I think it might have been really prevalent in Bonk's Revenge, where you're basically, he starts walking automatically, but you don't really gain control until you like forcibly try to get it. So you can basically jump or move, and you will now have control, but otherwise he'll just like walk over to the other side of the screen for you.
So we're off to the boss rush, as you can probably tell, and very similar setup, I guess, to Revenge. But the boss fights are just they're faster in this game than they are like in Revenge, and you don't have a long walk like you have in Adventure. So it seems like it goes a lot quicker than the other two games.
Yeah. Okay, so things didn't go quite as nicely. You see what you're supposed to do, kind of casually in this fight, but it was pretty close. But you kind of want to get locked in position there, and then he won't hit you. And yeah, so it was only a few more hits, but. That's what happens when you don't get the quick kill.
It's also trying to figure out where the heck the actual hitbox is for the robot especially when you're first learning it. It's very frustrating sometimes.
Hitboxes in this game, that's something.
It is, yes, as you'll see, especially coming up here in the drool fight.
Yeah, I usually take these first couple bosses as like the hardest ones first, and they're also at the top where the health is, so it's like if I need to get any extra health in between them, we can do it. But the last two are just the round 1 and round 3 bosses, which are pretty simple. And it's nice that that heart will always come back, just in case you're really sucking it up on this section.
Little difference you'll notice here on the boss rush is that they're actually in the same exact rooms that the boss fight was originally. In Bonk's Revenge, you actually fought them in a little different zone than you did.
Killed that one.
Smoked them. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, you can kind of get locked in the hitbox there, but it's like really easy to fall under, which you really don't want to do because he'll smash you into a crab and then you're just like stuck under him.
Done.
Yep. But yeah, this last one should hopefully be very easy again.
for a level 1 boss, it's actually a pretty decent challenge for a level 1 boss. Especially if it's your first time playing it.
Alright. Didn't get a great setup, but that's alright. Should only get hit one extra time. Yeah, if you die on this boss, it's kind of a pain to get up there, especially if he's really big, like the bombs in Final Fantasy. You just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I always, even to this day, I still love the giant sprites for the bosses, the boss fights in any Bonk game. They're, like, we get used to them after a while, but they're really colorful. They're really inventive and creative. They're really fun to look at.
Yeah, that was like a big thing with the kind of the Genesis era and the 16-bit. It's just like everything's so much bigger now. It's awesome.
We can do this, and we're going to.
Looks like I'm taking the bottom route. Sometimes I decide to go the top route here, but I just kind of let things happen here. See if what path of least resistance, basically. You know, you see little lava waterfalls that make things really tricky too. So.
And truthfully, I've actually forgotten which route the task takes, but I know it doesn't seem like there's a huge time difference between the two.
Yeah, there's a little spring I bonk off at the top, which saves me some time. Looks like I just missed it since I took the bottom route there, but I mean, it's pretty negligible. I think it kind of looks swag, basically, more than anything else.
Well, I mean, that's an important aspect to any speedrun.
Yeah, I mean, gotta get your swag in. Okay, so here's running up the slope. I think that might be one of the only times you see it in the game, because when I'm doing it in the speedrun, I try not to do it, because it's terrible.
Yes.
And I'm just
not fast.
Mashing the jump button. Here's a little swag. How about that?
There you go.
All right, so I like to say that this is the tour of Drool's house. Drool's got a really weird house. Drool's dining room down here in the basement next to the boiler. Going up to Drool's kitchen. Drool's kitchen is in rough shape though. The stove's on fire. There's fireballs shooting out of it. You got monsters just hanging out. I left this bathtub full, but nobody's in it.
Most terrifying sprites in the whole game.
Yeah, and then we've got, yes, the most terrifying sprite coming up here, which is the nightmare emoji baby. And that's it.
Yeah, that's literally it. I feel like that's such a cool sprite that we see so little.
There is another one earlier in the game. It's just I skipped that part, so we don't get to see it. Hey, but we got to see inside a smoochy fish, something that is never prominently featured in my run. So how about that? That's for all y'all.
You know, we did it. You busted it out just for Retrothon.
Yeah, this is all for all you Bonk kids out there.
For all you Bonk kids out there.
That's right. All right, so this is actually the second of 3. The round is actually called Final, not 7. So
oh, that's right. This is final round. My apologies.
This is final, yes.
Yeah.
And this is the place where I actually turn off turbo for these bonks, because this is just a really strange section for like bonking. And if you have the turbo on, see, like, it got bounced really high there. No real rhyme or reason to it. It's really hard to just time these well. And this is supposed to be the only part where we actually get the big power-up. Big bonks off the side. All right, we don't want it anymore.
Ron, you wanted to give him a preview of that. You know, that's just such a cool sprite. You want to see it?
It's a really cool sprite. I will say that. I just speed up our climb here. We're going to bonk off the walls a few times.
This actually is also kind of a spot that can give, it's given me problems before, where if you don't destroy some of these enemies or, you know, get them out of your way, you could easily lose your flower. That one right there?
Yeah, if you lose, like, so I think I found the best strategy might be to just, like, hold turbo there, and it usually doesn't give me any trouble anymore, but, I mean, this is still a bonk game. There's a lot of what feels like randomness. It's like, didn't I hit that guy? I swore I hit that guy. All right. We're going into Drool. Hardest Drool fight in the first 3 games. It's a pain. Definitely turning off turbo for this fight.
So there's 3 different versions of Drool here, and you're going to see them all because you need to hit them all to beat the boss. There's the giant, huge one you're seeing right away. Then it's going to transform after a certain amount of hits, and I don't even know how many hits that is, but...
Yeah, this one's actually the hardest one to gauge. Like, are you hitting him? Like, right now, it doesn't look like I'm hitting him at all. He's blinking a little bit. I'd like to see him go small, though. Like, you think this is small. Well, what about this? That's even smaller. Actually, I think I want to take Purposeful Death here before I do anything else. Ideally, yeah. Because the next phase is going to be really fast and furious, so...
It always doesn't make... You're not always sure when you're actually doing damage on the boss, too.
There, that looks good. Yes, all right, good. accelerate this cycle a little bit.
There we go. Good. Oh, good hit. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
it looks really good. Yeah, let's see if I can get some more hits in though. Ooh, yeah, this is a good cycle. Too bad I biffed the rest of the run, but this was a really amazing drool fight. And that's time.
Heck yeah. Oh, what great.
Still well under estimate, but wow, yeah, it took us on a tour of some sections there that I didn't mean to.
You know, John, you're doing the folks a service here by showing off all parts of the game. We don't have to just show off the speed running parts.
Oh, so I meant to say it, but we got distracted with the other commentary. There was a story to this game. Drool does like to steal half of the moon, not the whole moon, half of the moon. This time he wisely hides it in the ocean, so people can't find it. So I'm not really sure where he takes it in the other runs, but I mean, he just takes it. So now you're under the water. And yeah, and that's what Bonk's doing, is it's got to save Moonland. Got to get Moon back in one shape. And no Princess Ah in this game either. It's not very clear who we're saving, just all of Moonland in general, I suppose.
Yeah, I still wonder what the heck, where's this route, this game going? Why they choose to, take such a right turn and change out some of those things? But how can you have a Bonk game without Za? It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay,
right.
I won't be that.
Anyway. Yeah, don't even get like a courtesy wave at the end or anything.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Well,
thanks for having us,
right.
Retrothon. That's it's a fun game. It is. We give it a lot of we poke a lot of fun at it, but it is a fun game to speedrun, and it's probably one of the more challenging ones of the Bonk runs. But it has some rewarding sections that are like these quick kills are a lot of fun once you figure out the tricks to them. But.
And a quick shout out for all 6 of us that are Bonk fans. We do have a Bonk Discord, so if you go onto any of the Bonk leaderboards, there's a link to the Bonk Discord. It'll get you to the TurboGrafx 16 Discord as well. But if you're at all interested in any of this stuff, no joke, we're kind of geeks about it. So please feel free, stop on by. If you just want to talk about it casually, there are many different versions of Bonks you may not even be aware of, like the arcade version and the GameCube version. So there's Bonk for everyone.
Yeah. That GameCube version is cool. It's definitely a good twist on Bonk's adventure.
Agreed. Good run, John. GG.
Yeah, thanks. It ended up being really nice and clean by the end, but yeah, it was a tough road getting there.
You got there. No game over.
Yeah, exactly.
One CC.
Didn't have to forcibly get a game over, or muscle memory reset the game or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we only got like a few more seconds here before we get our favorite message in the Bonk series, because these are very short credits, but makes you feel really special when the game goes out and thanks you like this. But obviously we've got our special thanks here, but and our direct to Angela. But the most important message: this game is for all you Bonk kids. Thanks a lot. No, thank you.
All you Bonk kids.
Thank you.
Here.
All right, I think that does it for us.
Great run, John.
Yeah.
Good deal.
TG16 block continues.
Woohoo.
All right. See ya.
John.
Yeah.
Good deal.
TG16 block continues.